Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, your most notorious groupie. You guys know that would be me, author of this little book right here, and these ones as well. You guys, where you can get that, my merchandise, everything, down in that description. And as always, I want to send all the love out to everybody here who is really making me feel at home and making this a family and a community. I can't even begin to thank you, my Patreon members. Thank you so much. But what's going to happen is I'm going to close down my Patreon here pretty soon. I want everybody to bring their memberships over here. It's just easier for me. I can do lives here a lot easier for just members. I can do members only episodes here a lot easier. It's just more compartmentalized. So bring your memberships over here, guys. I've got a lot more stuff for you over here. So, all right. And speaking about a lot more stuff over here, you guys, again, like I always say, just when you think it doesn't end, there's more people to meet backstage. There always is. There's always a band in town. And we are going to talk about a little band that I hung around with once before. Well, more than once before. I had met a couple of these guys. So we are going to talk about a little tour called Walking to Clarksdale with Robert Plant and Jimmy Page. That's right, you guys have been waiting for this, so I'm going to do it. And I'm going to talk about a little stuff that's not in the book. So, and what I'm drinking today is our locals, this wonderful pineapple sour by Proper. You guys, kind of the spooky season, nice little spooky, sweet flavor. So everybody, grab your pineapples, kick up your feet, and let's have a little cocktails and rocktails, shall we? Cheers, big ears. That is good. I love our locals. You guys, if you happen to be able to get Proper, which I don't think you can, if you can order it, we have a lot of weird, say hello to Beluga. You can hear him in the background. And you guys are noticing this is another podcast episode. And I'm sorry to have so many of these lately. I've just been so busy. I have family in town, trying to take care of things with my dad. I mean, it's just work, everything. It's just so much. So I am so sorry for the podcast episodes. But you guys, this is a good one. So this is going to be nice to listen on your drive home, to work, while you're making dinner. You don't have to pay attention to the screen. There's going to be a couple pictures of the passes and stuff. So, all right, now I'm going to do a reading from the book. So this is September of 1998. A lot was happening. Oh, this was a good year. So this is September, and I wanted to hook up with this tour. I had met Jimmy on a couple of occasions. Robert's tours, I had hung out with several on the tours with that, so wasn't exactly new to me. So this is September 1998. Here's the passes. The blue one, you guys, is for Salt Lake City. The purple one is for Las Vegas, because it wasn't just one town. I was living in Las Vegas at the time. So, but I still came back to Salt Lake City for a lot of shows, especially if they came to Vegas afterwards. So I traveled a lot between Salt Lake City, Seattle, and Vegas during these years. Okay, so here we go. I called Danny back in Salt Lake City and made plans to meet up with her in the Walking into Clarksdale tour. The legendary Zeppelin boys would be in my old kingdom for a few days before visiting my new Valhalla. It would be a good way to secure my groupie rights for the show to come, as well as give me the opportunity to endear myself even more to the Golden God. Plus, I hadn't seen Danny in a while, and I could use the break from Las Vegas. So we made some reservations at the hotel where we knew the band would be staying. Danny took all the confirmation numbers and placed them somewhere safe. Something she would not be able to find the day she picked me up from the airport. Of course, she couldn't because she was stoned when she hit the numbers. But she knew all the hotels, new and old. Salt Lake City was readying for the Olympics about this time, and new haunts were popping up all over the localized downtown area. Danny was sure it wasn't the hotel I thought it was. I had just got off the plane, so she had picked me up from the airport. And she was like, no, it's not this hotel. I'm like, but I swear to God, you told me this one. So anyway, She was absolutely sure it was the sister one located close to what I thought was the address she gave me. So we pulled up to the front doors of the hotel she thought it was, and sashayed our groupie asses across the lobby to the front desk to perform the time-honored rock and roll tradition of checking into the band's hotel. Or so we thought. As we said our names and group reservations, the clerk became puzzled and said there was no booking for any of what we had insisted was there. We went at him in true rock and roll spoiled girl fashion and told him to look again and call his corporate reservationist. Danny said we could go get the confirmation number to secure our rooms with the boys. We dragged our luggage from the valet and strutted out the doors, sure we would be back. Danny and I barely got out of the parking lot when I saw it. The hotel I had sworn it was. She said there was no hotel by this name in Salt Lake City. So I looked at her and said we should give it a try. Same company, just a nicer line of rooms. One of them was the Marriott Comfort Inn and Marriott Suites, something like that. Anyway, so we took a chance and hit the front desk clerk with all the sweetness of a Southern virgin. But he had already been warned that we may stop by and already had our reservations pulled up, along with the side note that the tour was 5 minutes behind us and had just done the same thing at the other hotel we had done. So what had basically happened, Danny and I went to this one hotel where she's like, no, I swear to God it's this one. I'm like, no, I swear you told me it was this one. So we went up and we're like, no, check the reservations. We'll go get the confirmation number. Pulled out of the hotel, saw the hotel it actually was, started checking into that hotel, and not even 5 minutes behind us was the tour, who did the exact same thing at the other hotel, and then came over to the correct hotel. But I am sure the band's tour manager wasn't as calm as Danny and I had not been. We spent the next day with a few of the guys we knew from the other tours having a spur-of-the-moment picnic in Park City under a perfect sky. And as we all sat, knowing just how lucky we were to be living our lives, while the worker bees trudged around our gazebo and pond, the Golden God quipped up. I wonder what the poor people are doing. And by poor people, he meant the ones that had to miss the leisurely moments we had all enjoyed over the years. Oh, Robert, how much I miss those blue eyes. It was a great day. Oh, and our friend Robbie was there too. He worked for the band. He was a roadie, Robbie Jarvis, and he has since passed away. God rest him. Anyway, it would be the next day that I would get into a little more trouble as planned. Because during this picnic, I was still flirting with Robert. Jimmy was there. We were just sort of hanging out, a few of the roadies, just having this little champagne sandwich afternoon. Because we had actually planned to go to the Alpine Slide in Park City, which went down the mountain, when it was not ski season. So anyway, that was closed. So we ended up, we were like, well, we'll just go to the liquor store, grab some champagne, kind of see what we can do, grab some food, have a little outdoor picnic. Beautiful day, right? So there was a little sandwich shop right next to the liquor store where we had bought the champagne, and it was just kismet. It was a really great day. We were all just sitting around talking, day drinking, having a good time. I was still wanting Robert. But did it go as planned? We'll see. So, as Danny and I walked our way to the backstage parking lot of the new Olympic hockey arena, the E-Center, two white vans came around the corner from behind us. White vans always give me a secret little thrill because I know they carry rock stars. You can count them throughout the day, rushing around, bringing the band one by one or two at a time. In this case, Robert Plant was in one and Jimmy Page was in another. The van spotted Danny and I and came to two unison halts, signaling the sexual rivalry between the rock legends. It was still alive and made it out of the 70s. But those English rockers never fully rid themselves of the groupie game. They can't. It's half the lure of being a rocker they themselves invented. So they keep it going tour after tour. But tonight, it was Danny and I's buffet. The rockers had their assistants hop out of the vans to claim us as theirs. We knew them both. the tour manager, Rex, who was also with The Who, and Renge, who had been around Metallica for years. So we followed with him around the rest of the band and into the backstage doors. He tried to have me carry some luggage, but I looked at him with the best, yeah, fuck that face. Don't ask me to carry your luggage. There are assistants and valets to do that. No offense. Yeah, I gave him the best, yeah, fuck that face. I learned from the attitude of the 80s. I wasn't some mothering chick from the 70s doormat of groupiedom. Oh no, Daddy taught me well that the man should carry a lady's luggage, not vice versa. They weren't gods until they hit the stage, so Renge better be carrying that himself. We got to the dressing room hallways and stood before 2 doors. Kind of like, let's make a deal. One was Robert's and one was Jimmy's. Neither Danny nor I was sure which was which, or who Renge and Rex were working for. I mean, we knew one was Robert Plant's guy and the other was Jimmy's. I stood in front of the dressing room doors listening to the road assistants try to lure me into their boss's rooms. Danny and I looked at each other. Which one should she go into? Which one should I go into? So I pretty much eeny, meeny, miny, moed it. I stopped on the door to the right and walked in. It was Jimmy's. He stood there as if he was waiting for me. And he was, as he had sent Renge for me. Damn! But no! But damn! I was too late to leave, so I accepted the drink Jimmy offered and sat down with him for a while before I decided maybe I'll have sex with him. Right there on the couch in the dressing room, I straddled the guitar legend and left a bigger impression on his aging... Right there on the couch in his dressing room, I straddled the guitar legend and left a bigger impression on his aging than his aging cock could. Not that he was bad or small. No. He was just 50-something years old, but sexy. Fun-ass 50. I finished off the fun and conversation with Jimmy and told him I was going to go find Danny. She was innocently mingling with some of the other band and roadie friends in the catering room. I stuck around long enough to smoke a joint and find my way back to Jimmy's dressing room, as Renge had instructed. Well, if Jimmy wanted to make sure I made it back to his clutches in one piece, he should not have put Robert Plant's dressing room between his and the catering room. As I walked by the open door to his goldenness, I noticed his dressing room road case. It had a Celtic eagle picture on it. I knew this picture. It was from the Book of Kells, an antique book of priceless, amazing artwork and old Celtic stories. I knew it because it was my tattoo. I found more than the physically open door and went in. And just as I was using more than the opening line on Robert Plant, Jimmy walked by and saw me. I was bent over with the long dress I had on, half over my head, so Robert could see my matching tattoo as his guitar rival came about. Even though it looked suspicious enough, Jimmy sweetly demanded me to his side, and I went, but not without leaving the Golden God with a deliciously tantalizing memory of my tattoo. I was with Jimmy the rest of the Salt Lake City stay, and into the Vegas one as well. He was fun, sweet, but not like I had any delusions about rockers. Oh, heavens no. They make great lovers, not good husbands. And Jimmy and I had run our little course by the end of Las Vegas. So I ran into the unknown that was the rest of my rock and roll fantasy. So there you guys go. There's a lot more stuff that happened between Salt Lake City and Las Vegas, because there was also a couple days in between. So the night before, Jimmy and Robert had stayed in Los Angeles. They stay at the Sunset Marquis these days. So they had gone there and were going to come into Vegas the night before. And we went out with a bunch of the crew guys who, like I said, a lot of them I knew from other tours, Rolling Stones, Metallica, just stuff like that. So we had gone out to my favorite little hole-in-the-wall bar that no longer exists in Las Vegas, Kelly's, and just drank and danced to the jukebox, played some pool, had a really fucking awesome night. and then ran into Jimmy, of course, back at the hotel, because this is the thing. Robert and Jimmy were trying to vie for both Danny and I. Danny wasn't interested in either of them. She was over it. She was just there for fun because, like Marie said, we're not always going there to sleep with the rock stars. I know you guys hear all my stories about sleeping with rock stars, but this is only not even half the bands I hung out with that I'm talking about. And Jimmy and Robert definitely, you could tell, because that's right, in Salt Lake City, we had been taken out to the front of house to stand and watch the show for the first little bit. And this is where the guy, I've told this story before here. So Danny and I were walking out in Salt Lake City from the dressing rooms to the FOH. And as we were walking out with Renge, just talking, minding our own business, catching up, there was this guy on the first risers off the floor. Those front row, kind of where the railing is. You have to step up to get to it. So he was on that front row, right on that riser off the floor. And like I said, Danny and Renge and I were just chatting, catching up, having normal conversation, when this guy looks down and was like, "Oh, look, two professional groupies." Renge's an Aussie, New Zealander possibly. But you don't fuck with Renge. He's like, "Ladies," he's like, "you know how to get to the FOH?" Got a yellow jacket, a local security, made sure we got to the FOH safely. And as Danny and I were walking away, I turned around and see Renge grab this guy by the collar, yank him over that railing, and take him backstage where Jimmy and Robert were. And that's all he got to see of the show. Jimmy and Robert walking down the hallway towards the stage as he was being kicked out for trash talking the groupies. Because he didn't know us. He didn't know who the fuck we were. He doesn't need to be sitting there talking shit, So his talking shit got him kicked out of, probably he paid about $200-300 for those tickets. So your fault, dude. And then later, as we were coming, Danny and I were coming back from the FOH board, about 4 or 5 songs into the show, we decided we didn't want to be on the FOH anymore. So we were cruising back to the backstage. And as we were coming through the backstage gates, it was in between songs. And if you're looking at the stage, it was stage right on Jimmy's side. And Jimmy turns around, he looks down at us, and in front of the whole crowd, waves and looks down at Renge. He's like, "Make sure the girls have what they want. You guys got everything okay? You doing okay?" Like, he got on the mic and just talked to us in front of the whole crowd. We're like, "Yeah, we're good. Thanks, Jimmy." So that was kind of, a really cool moment of validation. Not validation, but just like, Jimmy acknowledged us in front of a crowd of 15,000 people, in the middle of a show. So, and these are things I forget to write, and Danny reminds me. She was just over earlier today, and we were talking about this, and she's like, "Don't you remember when Jimmy?" I'm like, "Oh God, that's right. That's right." And it was just, and in Vegas, it was, like I said, I just kind of got bored. Like, Jimmy was really nothing to write home about. I do not know why all these 70s chicks were so hot after him. His accent, maybe watching him on stage, but like I said, he was nothing to write home about. It was like, even in Vegas, when it was just me and him in the hotel room, and he's a great guy. We had a lot of interest talking about art and poetry and history and really great conversation, but not the greatest sex. I wouldn't even rank him in the top 20, to be honest. Robert might be, though. Could he be? Could I have? Oh, I don't know. That's a whole nother story. So there you guys go. There's a little snippet into the Page and Plant. So ladies, don't think that any band is off limits. If anything, the English boys are easy to get to because they're used to having the groupies around. They may not be sleeping with them, but they love having them around. They love that feeling that the groupies bring of that sexual validation and, strutting their stuff. So if you think those rockers are off limits, ladies, think again. Still, get to that hotel bar. There's always a way backstage to meet who you want. So, all right, guys. Hope you enjoyed my little tale today. Hope you guys, thank you so much for getting to the end of the episode. And again, sorry for another podcast episode. Like I say, you guys can tell I'm just tired. I need to take a break, but I just don't want to because you guys are so awesome. I want to deliver whatever I can, everything I can, the best that I can. in that moment in time, because you guys are truly the best. So thank you so much. And even to the lurkers, people just haunting and discovering the channel, go down, you guys. Hit that share, hit the bells, hit the subscribe, because you guys, I've got a lot of cool stuff that I want to do for the members once we get bigger membership going on here. So hit the membership, subscribe. Everybody from Patreon, abandon over there, come on over here, because I've got a lot of cool stuff waiting for you. All right, guys, thank you again for listening to my little ditty. We hope to see you next time. See, you can tell I'm tired. I can't even sign off as normally as I do. So thank you guys so much. I love y'all. Cheers, big ears. We'll see you next time.